So I'm kind of done with the quarterback questions, and so here's what I want to ask too, because building on top of what you just said, because I have been known to be a Matt Rule apologist, and I'm gonna be honest with you, this offensive line situation, I can't support it. I cannot support it at all. And the reason I can is because I can go through so many different names. Creed Humphrey from last year, or Tevin Jenkins, or I may have that name wrong. But this year, Charles Cross starting left tackle for the Seattle Seahawks. Evan Neal starting right tackle for the New York Giants. I am one of those people like you, Cody, who believes that Brady Christensen is a left tackle. Like through and through, he's a left tackle. He was an All-American left tackle. He never played any other position. He was a left tackle, right, at BYU. All-American. So was Ickey, right? But Ickey has, even his scouting report says that he was so much better as a run blocker. Like as a run blocker, Ickey's probably potential, if he stays healthy and learns the offense, he could be a Hall of Famer, right? He's one of those kind of guys, like Quentin Nelson, right? To be a guard, right? And I think sometimes what happens is that because we've been inept for so long at a certain position, we think that when he's drafted, it's like an automatic, like, oh, he's got to be the left tackle because it's the sexy thing to say because we drafted him so high. And I'm like, well, no. Like if he turns out to be a Hall of Fame left guard, it wasn't a wasted pick. Or if he turns out to be a decent left guard, it wasn't a wasted pick. It was the perfect pick, and especially even if Brady Christensen in the third round, who Matt Rule says was a what do you say, third round guard, fourth round tackle or something crazy?
He said he was a third round tackle and a second round guard.
Yeah.
He never played a snap of guard at BYU.
Exactly. And so my point is that the fact that this guy is not even getting reps with the ones, it just tells me that Matt Rule has not broken. Some people, when they leave certain professions, I've often said this and heard this before. Salespeople oftentimes make horrible managers. It's the reason why companies go out and hire managers, going through a pool of or hiring recruiters to find you a good manager, because salespeople are extremely selfish and it's hard to change their mentalities, right? So the same thing exists with Matt Rule. It's like, listen, this is not college, man. You are not in 100% control. Yes, you are the head coach, but I just can't stand behind the fact that I know James Campen has to be thinking like, man, what are we doing? Like, what do y'all say to that?
I mean, so a lot of people online are saying that James Campen is part of this decision. So to add a little bit of context for all of our viewers, Brady Christensen has gotten the lion's share of the first team reps at left tackle. And they are making Ickey, the number 6 overall pick this year, basically battle for that same position, battle for the left tackle spot. Now, John, you and I are of the same mindset, brother. I think Brady Christensen is best suited playing left tackle. He's a very athletic big man. That is what he is good at doing. I never bought into the short arm syndrome. I believe that, yes, while you want to have longer levers, there are many techniques that will allow someone to be able to overcome an arm length disadvantage if they have one. On top of that, us being such a run-first football team, I want to see Christian McCaffrey running behind Ickey Ekwonu at left guard. Like, there is this mindset amongst fans that left guard is just a wholly invaluable position compared to left tackle, or it's devalued. Left tackle is so much more important, and I just don't buy that.
Go look at where most of our sacks were given up. Look at where the majority of our sacks were given up last year.
It was interior.
Yeah, it's interior.
And in today's NFL, more quarterbacks now are more mobile than ever before.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier for them to evade edge pressure than it is for them to be able to evade someone barreling right up the center at them. If a quarterback has a pocket to be able to throw from, you will have a more successful quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that the left guard position for the Carolina Panthers is probably more important than left tackle at this juncture in time. That's why I want Ickey Ekwonu to play left guard. The reason I have such a problem with Matt Rule is that he hasn't taken one snap with Ickey Ekwonu at left guard at first team. He is dead set on either putting Michael Jordan or Pat Elflin at guard instead of either Brady Christensen and Ickey Ekwonu. And it's like, why not maximize all the talent that the Carolina Panthers have, put them in a favorable position now, so that way they can be gelled and they can be on the same page by the time we're playing our first snap of meaningful NFL football. I feel like Matt Rule is prolonging the inevitable. He did so last year by not giving Christensen enough of a chance to play left tackle last year. James Campen even said that they wish that they had more snaps from Christensen at left tackle. And I just feel like Matt Rule has such a bone to pick with rookie offensive players that he has this thing where they must prove themselves. They must prove themselves worthy to play NFL football. And it's so pompous and stuck up, in my opinion. Why is it every year you see rookies on every other football team come in and make an instant impact on offense, but you rarely ever see that for Carolina? It was a problem with Ron Rivera. It's a bigger problem under Matt Rule than Ron Rivera, and it's driving me up a wall, man. I think that it's hurting us in the long run.
I agree. CK, you look like you had something you wanted to say.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I was, there are certain things I understand. I understand wanting to not just hand over the reins to a guy who hasn't earned it, especially if you believe that he's not up to par, right? But you didn't draft this guy in the second round, right? You didn't draft him in the third round. You drafted him in the first. And not only did you draft him in the first, you drafted him in the top 10, right? So I think when you have a guy like that, you've got to have trust that this guy is going to be able to learn. And I think we can all agree that there are certain things that you just can't do. Like at certain positions, I understand maybe taking a step back from the idea of having them start the first year. And quarterback is one of those, right? I can understand quarterback giving it a time to develop. But offensive line, if they've got the physical skill set, the only thing that's going to help them is reps in a real life environment, right?
Yeah.
And so it's kind of the same way I feel about this whole quarterback competition, right? It's right now, I think there is no doubts, right? I think we believe that Ickey is going to be on this starting lineup at the beginning of the year, right? Yeah. I think the coaching staff believe that, but I think right now Matt Rule is more interested in proving a point than he is in developing his skill set, right? And I think that iron sharpens iron, as they say, right? Or steel sharpens steel, whatever that saying is. So do you want Ickey to go up against second string, third stringers, or do you want him to go up against these guys that are top contenders? Do you want him to go up against the Brian Burns on a every down play to be able to actually come in here and actually show what he's capable of doing? I think that offensive line is the one position you don't want to be sitting on your hands for. Let these guys compete at the highest level, especially if you believe this guy has what it takes to be the starting left tackle or left guard. Now,
he's already shown you that, and I'm sorry to cut you off real quick, just to add to your point. He's already shown you what he can do to the second tier guys. He put Marquise Haynes in shackles today.
Right. No, and like I said, at the end of the day, I mean, I've seen nothing to indicate that he shouldn't be at least in the conversation for being the at least taking first team reps. Like there's just nothing that I've seen yet. I think right now we're just doing again. I think that's where my biggest question mark for Matt Rule is coming from. Is I still think he's learning a lot, and I think we can all see progress in what he's done, not only with his coaching staff, but with what he has decided to do with this team. But I think he's still holding on to this college mentality that nobody, like, you're dealing with the top athlete. Like, you're not dealing with the same people you were dealing with in college, right? You're not getting walk-ons.
That's a very important point. I think there's a good and bad to this situation. I actually think that him putting Brady Christensen with the ones at left tackle is more about finding out, is not about Ickey Ekwonu actually as a talent. I think it's more about finding out who Brady Christensen is. So you have a top talent right behind you, chasing you hard, and we're really going to try to find out if you have the mettle to play left tackle in the NFL.